Hi, this is Nancy Buswell, and you are listening to the Listen and Repeat podcast, episode 95. This is the short story by Jack London called To Build a Fire, the third part. So please listen and repeat. Try to copy how my voice goes up and down. That's called intonation. Also copy my pronunciation. The frozen moisture of its breathing had settled on its fur in a fine powder of frost. So we're talking about the dog now. Remember, there's a man, and it's extremely cold up in, I'd have to check, either northern Canada or Alaska, by the Yukon River. And especially where its jowls, muzzle, and eyelashes whitened by its crystalled breath. The man's red beard and mustache were likewise frosted. But more solidly. The deposit taking the form of ice and increasing with every warm, moist breath he exhaled. Also, the man was chewing tobacco. And the muzzle of ice held his lips so rigidly that he was unable to clear his chin when he expelled the juice. The result was that a crystal beard of the color and solidity of amber was increasing its length on his chin. That actually sounds pretty disgusting. If he fell down, it would shatter itself. Like glass, into brittle fragments. But he did not mind the appendage. It was the penalty all tobacco chewers paid in that country. And he had been out before in 2 cold snaps. They had not been so cold as this, he knew. But by the spirit thermometer at 60 mile, he knew they had been registered at 50 below and at 55. He held on through the level stretch of woods for several miles. Crossed a wide flat of, I'm not going to say that word. I don't use language like that, and I never have in my whole life. I'm not sure what that means, but I think it's a kind of rock. I actually saw that word when I was reading a James Bond novel from the 50s. Nowadays, we would never say that. I think it's a kind of rock. Okay, so we're going to leave that word out and go to the next one. And drop down a bank to the frozen bed of a small stream. Yeah, that word, we call it the N word, and I've never said it in my entire life. I never will. It's very disrespectful. I strongly recommend that you never use that. It's very disrespectful of black people. This was Henderson Creek, and he knew it was 10 miles from the Forks. He looked at his watch. It was 10 o'clock. He was making 4 miles an hour. And he calculated that he would arrive at the Forks at 12:30. He decided to celebrate that event by eating his lunch there. The dog dropped in again at his heels. With the tail drooping discouragement. As the man swung along the creek bed. The furrow of the old sled trail was plainly visible. But a dozen inches of snow covered the marks of the last runners. In a month, no man had come up or down that silent creek. The man held steadily on. He was not much given to thinking. And just then, particularly, he had nothing to think about. Particularly. That's a really hard word to say, isn't it? Try it again. Particularly. Save that he would eat lunch at the Forks. Can you hear the birds? Not my birds. Can you hear the birds outside my window? I know I just record in my bedroom. I'm not a professional podcaster, so I'm sitting at my desk in my bedroom with the window there and the birds outside. It's nice. I hope the birds don't bother you too much. I really enjoy hearing them when they're chirping. And there's different kinds of birds. Okay, let's go back to Alaska or the Yukon. Where were we? And that at 6 o'clock he would be in camp with the boys. There was nobody to talk to. And had there been, speech would have been impossible because of the ice muzzle on his mouth. So he continued monotonously to chew tobacco. And to increase the length of his amber beard. Once in a while, the thought reiterated itself. Reiterate just means repeat. That it was very cold, and that he had never experienced such cold. As he walked along, he rubbed his cheekbones and nose with the back of his mittened hand. He did this automatically, now and again changing hands. But rub as he would, the instant he stopped, his cheekbones went numb. and the following instant the end of his nose went numb. He was sure to frost his cheeks. He knew that, and experienced a pang of regret. That he had not devised a nose strap of the sort Bud wore in cold snaps. Such a strap passed across the cheeks as well and saved them. But it didn't matter much after all. What were frosted cheeks? This says frosted, but we would say frostbite or frostbitten cheeks. The condition is called to get frostbite. A bit painful, that was all. They were never serious. Okay, that's enough for today. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you have a good day.